Hi guys, John with you, and it's time now for build update number 2. And as usual, in build update number 2, we get it all painted and finished off. Okay, build update number 1 was our build. Exactly, we got it all built, and of course we had the unboxing before that. So without further ado, let's get down to the bench and let's get it all painted. Okay, so as you can see, everything is now broken down for painting. I have the upper hull, the lower hull, the turret, all the wheels, and I have the on this little thing here, tracks and the figures. They're all base coated or undercoated. Sorry, not base coated. Undercoated XF90. Horrible colour. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, as in what the actual colour is, so I might use it as an undercoat, otherwise I'm just wasting it. I prefer not to waste it, so I'll use it as an undercoat. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to work on the lower hull. I'm going to get the lower hull sort of finished off with the tracks, the whole lot, get them masked off then, and I can carry on the rest of it. But for this clip anyway, we're going to worry about the wheels and the lower hull and get them painted in the base colour, which will be XF88. Okay then, now as you can see, I'm after giving the wheels and the side parts here. Okay, I'm after giving them their base coat. Didn't really bother about the back or the front because I'll be going over all that again once I have the wheels fitted, because I want to do the base like I said and get that masked off. So I'm after giving them their base coat. This is what I used here, XF88. Okay, XF88 dark yellow 2. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this, which is XF85 rubber black. Right, I'm going to do the rubbers on the wheels, get them done. Then I'm going to do the tracks. Okay, I'm going to get the tracks all done, and that'll be the wheels then done, so I can attach the wheels onto it. So the next time you see it, the base section will all be done, the wheels will be on and everything else, and I'm going to mask off all that. I'm going to attach the upper deck onto that, and we can carry on then from there with the rest of the painting, get the base coat down on the whole model, and start working then from there. Okay, so next time you see it, I'll have the wheels on, all painted up and everything else, just before I get them masked off, and then we'll carry on, as I said, as I keep saying, we'll carry on from there. Okay. Okay then, so, and as you can see, I'm after getting the tracks and all now fitted in that, and I'm after fitting on the wheels. I'm after gluing the tracks down onto the wheels as well, because it gives them a nice sag and they look nice. Okay. Now, I am really chuffed with how the colour came out. Okay, I'm not sure it'll show up so well, really. One second, if we change the light. There we go. No, it's not actually as yellow as that. It's actually quite a nice rusty look that is on them. With the tracks, what I did was, as we saw, we gave it the base coat of that horrible red-brown 2. Red-brown is right, it's more of a greeny, horrible colour. But anyway, I gave it a base coat of that, or an undercoat of that. Then I gave it my coat of this, which is dark iron XF84. 70% of that, 30% then of this XF68 NATO brown. Okay, I ended up then with a nice sort of undercoat, shall we say, or a base coat for the tracks. So it was a nice metal colour. Okay, then I don't know if you can see in there, I did all the the track guides there in the centre, guide horns. I painted all them silver. Okay, this is the silver I use. It's a war paints one from the Army Painter. It's just basic silver, any silver will do. Did all the guide horns, like I said. I did the spikes there on the drive wheel. Okay, and I give the tracks a nice dry brushing with the silver as well. That kind of give them a nice metallic-y look. Then I made down a bit of wash. Okay, I used oil paints, Winsor and Newton's, a bit of yellow ochre and burnt sienna, just a little bit of each. Okay, into one of these little containers here. I love these yolks. Okay, they're the top of the Johnson's cotton buds. Okay, and I made down a nice little bit of a wash. Okay, as you can see it there. Now the camera is making it look a little bit more yellow than it actually is. It's actually a nice sort of a fresh rusty colour. Mix them with a bit of ordinary cheap white spirit. Okay, nothing special really about that. I have gone off in the past and used the artist's white spirit and this, that and the other, and does the exact same job as the ordinary white spirit, except for the little tub of artist's white spirit you're paying an awful lot more, and for what I'm using it for, I find the ordinary cheap white spirit does just the job. Okay, so I made down my wash with that. Give them a good coating, a real good coating actually, I even down to the fact where I kind of curled up the tracks, put them into it and gave them a good soaking inside in it. Now the weird thing happened. Okay, now the tracks fitted on reasonably tight. You had to kind of push them on over it to get them to fit, but then after I gave them the wash, they were loose, they were just hanging off. So believe it or not, I've actually had to remove 3 links. Okay, now these are they are the rubber tracks, so I had to kind of cut them off and remelt them together. Okay, as you can see there, but that's in the hidden section anyway, so I'm not worried about it too much. But literally the tracks kind of loosened themselves out, which I found quite weird. But anyway, got them off anyway, and a little bit of super glue, and super glue onto the second wheel in the centre wheels, and that gave them that nice, that nice weighted sag. Okay, now they are rubber track wheels, or tracks should I say, rubber band tracks. They look metallic, nice kind of a rusty-ish look to them, and I'm happy with them. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mask off that whole section there, the tracks and the centre of the wheels. Then I'm going to attach my top section. Okay, now I'll just pop off the torch. I'll put it on there, I might leave it on and show you. There's that undercoat, that horrible greeny kind of colour undercoat, and I went over it with XF1 flat black, and just kind of highlighted, or low lighted should I say, because it's darker colour, so it's really lower light than a higher light. The lines, basically the main lines, just to see, when I give it the coating of the dark yellow, might get a little bit of tone variation. So you could say I did a little bit of pre-shading. Yeah, a little bit of pre-shading. So I'll put up them, and I'll be using them for another while. So like I said, now I'm going to mask off them. I'm going to fit my my upper hull onto that, get that all nicely glued into place and everything else, and then carry on and give the whole lot then a coat of this XF88 dark yellow 2, and once that's done, we'll come back and we'll have a look at it, and then we'll be into our greens and the various bits of detail painting to get done then after that. So next time you see it, I'll have the masking done, and I'll have the top section put onto the bottom. So we'll just have a quick look at it then, just to see where I'm going to start off with then on the yellow. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, I'm all masked off. Okay. And I've attached the top section on, and it's reasonably secure. Okay. Just once it dries in, it'll dry in a bit better. Now, the thing about this kit is you can see, as you can see there, look. There is nothing under here. But when it's a static model and you look at it from, say, top down or even side view on, you're not going to notice that. So I did this kit before. If you want to go back through some of my earlier videos, I used a bit of extra styrene and I actually built up the underside of it here, and I'll tell you, it did take quite a while. Took quite a bit of scratch building. Well, for me it did. Okay, it's probably just basic scratch building for anybody else. And for a finish, like I said, you're not going to see it anyway, so you know, it doesn't really matter. You can if you want to. If you want to see how to do it, go back into my earlier video of the Panther, not the pink one, but the other one, and you will see that done on it. Okay, so next step now is to get down the base coat of XF88, which is dark yellow 2, and we'll come back then. We'll have a look at the turret and the tank at that stage then, and from there we'll take it further. Is that it? Oh yes, one thing that I did earlier was I used, if you can see here on the back of the exhausts. Okay, now I used a little bit too much of it. I'm going to have to kind of clean it up just that little bit. You can use a knife here and kind of clean up little sections of that there, right? I used that lovely stuff. I'm talking here, but I'm trying to remove a bit of tissue paper that got stuck onto it. There we go. Oops. Use some of that, okay, which is Mr. Surfacer 500, and I'm going to get a bit of texture there on the exhaust pipes, so at least now when I paint them, get the rusty colour, I get a nice little bit of texture on them. But like I said, I kind of went a little bit overboard, but once that's dry, you know, you can give it a bit of a scraping, and you can remove any bits of where you think it's just a little bit too much. You can kind of tidy it up a bit with that. Now I was going to remove all that yesterday, but I said I'd leave it on just to let it dry in that little bit more and show you that you can remove it there on that. And as you can see, that is much better. Once the sort of the paint goes onto that, and it'll hold a nice wash then as well, because you can go into all the pits and all that kind of thing. So you can get them quite nice with that stuff. It's Mr. Surfacer 500. Okay, so next step now is to get it all base coated with the XF88. We'll come back there and we'll have a look at it at that stage. Okay, so I'm after getting my base coat down. Okay, right, which is the dark yellow 2 XF88 from TAMITA. Alright, I'm happy enough with how all that came out. Got a nice coating on it. Tried to go a bit light, but you know, to see could I get some of that pre-shading that I did, which in places it looks grand, you know what I mean? It kind of a little bit darker, nothing major, but I'm happy with it anyway. Okay, so the next step now is to get the green camouflage on. I'm going to try and basically copy the camouflage pattern that's on the box art. Okay, now I'm not going to get out the box, but basically the dark bit there is actually green, so I'm going to try and copy that pattern. Now it doesn't show the other side. I've been all the way through the magazine, through the instructions. They're very, very limited, and it doesn't actually give any camouflage pattern whatsoever on the instructions. So just have to kind of wing it from there, but try and copy, say, something similar onto what's on the front of it anyway, and kind of carry that on around the rest of the vehicle. So I'll get that done. We'll come back then, we'll have a look at that, and we'll see how I did with that. For the camouflage pattern, I will be spraying it on. I'll be using my new little camo Chinese airbrush. It's got a 0.2 needle. The great thing about it is you can adjust the air from there, so you can really can get some lovely fine lines with it and things like that. Especially if you take off the first cap, you can get a nice fine line with that. So I'll go ahead, I'll get that done, and we'll come back and we'll have a look at it. And like I said, we'll see how I did, good or bad. Don't have much choice anyway, we're stuck with it. Okay, so I'll get them done, I'll come back to you and we'll see. Okay, so there we go. I've stuck it on my twirly table just to show that it's nicely matched up with everything else as well. Got kind of close enough to what was on the box art. Close enough that I'm happy with it, and that is. I mean, like everybody else, when you're building a kit, are you happy with it? And if you're happy with it, then it's grand, and believe me, I'm happy with this, so therefore I'm grand. Okay, happy enough with that. Nice little nice camouflage pattern. Okay, I think so anyway. Yeah, I think that's a grand pattern. Got thick lines and thin lines, right? Now remember what camouflage patterns originally are there for, is to break up the outline, so when you look at it from a distance, it doesn't look like what it's supposed to be, if you know what I mean. Like, look at that from a distance through binoculars, things like that, and if that's in around a forest, it'd be very, very hard to distinguish. You might make out little parts of it, so therefore it's a case of, is it a panther tank, or is it something smaller, or is it even something bigger? You don't know, but there's something there. It won't hide it completely, but that's basically the idea behind a camouflage pattern. It's just to, like modern days now, they're known as DPM, with camo uniforms and things like that, which is basically disruptive patterned material, and so therefore it's a disruptive pattern. If you remember back to World War I with the ships, they called it disruptive pattern on the ships, where they had sort of vertical stripes and horizontal stripes and diagonal stripes all going off in all different directions. So when you look at it from a distance, you haven't a clue what the feck is coming at you. It's something, it's a shape, but how big is it? And that's what sort of the whole purpose behind it. Okay, so I'm happy, like I said, with that. Next step now for this is to do the detail painting on it. Okay, so I'm going to let it fully dry first, and then I can take off the masking tape. I just didn't want to get any green onto the tracks and down below. Like I said, I'm working on the details on it now, so I'm not going to get anything onto the tracks. There's no fear of getting anything onto the tracks, so I can remove the masking tape and that. So I'll do all the detail painting. We'll come back and have a look at that then, and we'll proceed then from there. Okay, so now I'm after getting the detail painting done. Wasn't really that much of it, to be quite honest with you. We just had the tools there. Okay, there was the track links there at the back, the exhausts and the jack there at the back of there. Some more of tracks, the tow rope, the jack block, a few more tools there as well. We also had the hull machine gun and the machine gun there on the commander's couple. Okay, and as you can see, I've also got the figures done. Alright, got them nicely painted up. Right, here we have our driver. And the commander. Okay. Now they weren't the best of figures, must admit. They're a bit they're the old Tamiya figures, you know, you get what you get. They're not as nicely detailed as modern figures. But still in all, you know, they came out quite grand. I'm happy enough with them. Okay. They'll do the job, says you. That's what we want. We want them to do the job and make it look good, you know. And I never professed myself to be a figure painter, but sure, what the heck. Okay, so next step. What's next? Next we've got with the decals. Okay, so I'm going to go for the number 421. I'm also going to go with. I'm going to try and go. It depends on the decals. Remember, because sometimes these decals, they don't age that well. Okay, so what I'm going to try and go for is this one here, which is the 2nd Panther Division. Right, that one there. Okay, and we've got our Balkan Cross there as well. So there isn't that many decals to go on, so hopefully they'll go on nice and neat and I won't have any problems with them. So I'll get the decals done, and after that then it'll be a gloss coat. So the gloss coat will go on. For gloss I use this, okay, Alcleb 2 from Aqua Gloss. That's the gloss coat I use. I leave that drying for at least 36 hours anyway, if not 48. I like it to give it a good give it plenty of time to you know, to do its job and give it a good strong protection, shall we say, and then we can start on the weathering. So I'll get the decals done and I'll get the gloss coat done, come back, we'll have a look at that, and then we can move on then for the final steps. Okay, so there it is now, all nice and gloss coated with the decals on as well. Okay, decal there on the back, just a simple cross. Okay, 421 up here, 421 there, cross there. Here, if we can make it out, but I could just change the angle there. Okay, we've got the divisional marking, and we've got a cross there. And that's basically it. That's all the decals that went onto it, and it got a nice good coat of Aqua Gloss. Now it's had about 36 hours since I've done the gloss coat on it, so I'm happy enough that that's ready for weathering. Okay. The reason I give it so long is because I'm going to use I'm going to make down a bit of wash with a bit of oil paint, and I don't know, I won't. I was going to use oil paint, but I'm going to have to use enamel, ordinary enamel paint, black enamel, flat back enamel, and a bit of white spirit. Okay. I was going to use oil paint, but I just realised that the colours I only have 2. I had a third one, but for some weird reason it seems to have gone astray on me. It was a nice dark colour, but I can't find it, and I've searched everywhere for the flipping thing. So, shall we say, it's one of those things that's unaccountable. So anyway, I'm going to go with the black enamel wash. I'm going to give it one more look for the other stuff before I make down the wash, but if I find it, I'll make it, and if not, I'll have to go with the black enamel wash. So first of all, I'll give it an overall wash, let that dry in, make sure it doesn't have any streaks or little puddles and things. Once that's done, then I'll sort of darken up the wash again, because the first coat of the wash is I just give it not too dark. Okay, I don't want it sort of first wash is going to be a filter, should I say? I don't want it too dark. I just want it to kind of darken up everything a little bit and just make it kind of look a bit dirty looking. And whereas the second wash then will be for any panels, things like that. That's about really all the weathering I'm going to do to it. I'm going to do very, very light weathering. I might do a little bit of dot weathering with some oils, but I don't think I'm going to. I'm going to have it fairly undamaged or anything like that. So therefore, if I'm not going to do any chipping or anything on it, then it's not going to have any rust streaks or anything like that. So reasonably factory fresh, as I like to call it. Okay, so next time you'll see it, we'll have its first coat of wash on. It'll be a little bit darker, hopefully. No, literally the second I finished making that last clip, I found my nice dark colour, burnt umber. So I'm going to make a burnt umber wash that would make kind of a sort of a mud streaks, and well, not streaks, but just dirt, a nice dirty colour. So I'm going to use the burnt umber for my wash. Okay, just I'd say that before I'd do it, instead of doing it and saying, well, I found it. Well, I did found it literally 2 seconds after finishing the video. Okay, so I'm after giving it the oil wash, okay, which is burnt umber and a bit of white spirit. Made on a wash, put it on last night. This is basically 24 hours later, so it's dry enough, shall we say. You probably could still work away with it if you a bit of white spirit if you wanted to remove any parts that you don't want to remove, like down here. Excuse me, those bloody motorbikes have been up and down there all evening. There's a little bit excess down here, so just a little bit of a rub, dampen a brush with a bit of white spirit, and you'll get that away. Well, should I say, I'll get that away. I'm not expecting you to come over here and sort of do that for me. I'll get that done. Now, I did say I wasn't going to do any chipping on it, but I'm going to do a little bit of chipping, a little bit of highlighting. And when I say highlighting, it's just go over edges and things with the original colour again of each of the plate things, and that will kind of just make things just stick out that little bit easier. Back here in the engine deck then, in areas like that, I'll do a bit of dry brushing. Again, I'll use the XF88 for the dry brushing, okay, which is the dark yellow too. And I'll see then, does it need any bit more? Maybe a bit of dry brushing with a bit of silver on the tow cable and things like that. When they're done, then it'll get a dull coat, and that should be it then. The reason I'm telling you all this is just because the next clip will actually be the final reveal, and I'll explain really at that stage what extra I've done to it. Because as you'll find yourself doing, if you are, say, a model, or not just somebody who's watching this just for the crack, you'll notice that when you get to this stage of the model, it's kind of, the model tells you what to do next, if you know what I mean. Things that you might have planned to do, you do an effect and you say, oh, well, that's enough, or oh, I need to do a little bit more to it. So just by tweaking things, you kind of get it to how you want it, and you can't really plan for how it's going to work out. Well, I can't anyway. I'm not at that stage yet that I know that if I use this, that and the other, I'm going to get that actual effect. For me, it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes I'd give it a wash and it comes up worse than what I wanted. Other times I give it a wash and it comes up better than what I'd expected. In this case, with the brown wash, it's my first time ever actually using a dark brown wash. It's the first time ever using an oil wash. But I said I'd give it a go, and I'm really, really chuffed with that. And that is something I'll definitely use again, because I do like the residue it leaves, if you know what I mean. Like along here, like that line across there. Now you can see it there on the screen there. This line across here I'm talking about now. That crease there. It really does look like, damp mud line, so just basic normal dirt. So I'm really happy with that. Might give it a little bit of a pin wash in places. That'll be a black pin wash, just to see can I highlight some of these little panels and things, and give it a go anyway. And like I said, whatever I do to it, I'll come back and I'll let you know what I did to it in the final reveal. So the next clip will be the final reveal. So see you in a few secs. Okay then, so I'm calling it done. Yep, I'm calling it done. Finally finished. This is the Panther Ausf.A from TAMITA, the old kit. I think it came out absolutely gorgeous. Okay, just goes to show you what you can do with some of those old kits. Is really, really nice. You can get a lovely, lovely effect from them whatsoever. The last little bit of weathering, I did very, very little to it after what you saw. Basically, I just gave it a bit of a dry brush. I gave it a dry brush first with the dark yellow. Then I gave it a dry brush with a bit of black, just to kind of mark off some of the areas, just a little bit of dirtying more than anything else. I was going to do a little bit of chipping, then I wasn't, then I was, and finally I didn't bother. So it was a case of one of those, I will, won't I, will I, won't I, and I didn't for a finish. So it's basically it's still in good condition. It's on its way to battle, shall we say. It hasn't actually been in battle yet, so therefore it doesn't have any of the scrapes or anything of the battle. There's nothing missing off it, as in all the tools are still perfect. So it's just a bit of driving dirt, that's all that's on it. Because they would get fairly dirty. I mean, you even notice your car, your ordinary car, if you drive that on a dusty road, by the time you get to your destination, it's covered in dust and the odd bits of whatever. So you can imagine for a tank going, cross country, on a train, all those kind of things that it will take to get to where it's getting to go to, it would get fairly dirty. Simple as that. Okay, so there she is, lads. That's the final reveal of it. I will stick a couple of ordinary, photographs up at the end of the clip, just to show you little areas that you mightn't really get to see up close, unless you stop and zoom in, of course. But I'll show you some pics for a finish. What are my overall sort of views on the kit? The build is simple. It's a simple build. There's no problems with it. Everything fits nicely. You've no adaptations to do to get things to fit. It's a great kit for beginners. It really, really is. And even for the intermediate to experienced modeler, it's a great kit then for practicing out different techniques and things. I said there at the start that you probably wouldn't sort of enter or win a competition with it, and somebody basically pointed out to me, yeah, you would. You could do a lovely job with it and enter it into a competition. And depends on the judges and the type of judges you have. You might even win it. It depends on how good a job you're doing it. So with that said, I'm going to leave it at that, lads. I enjoyed building it. I really, really did. It was the fourth one of my little mini series on classic German armour TAMITA kits from the 70s. The first one I did was I did the Panzer 4, I did the Tiger 1, I did the King Tiger, and I did the Flak Furling. And now I'm after doing a Panther. I have 2 more to go on that series. I have a Hanomag and the 88. I'll be doing the Hanomag next, so stay tuned to the channel for the videos on that. It'll be the usual unboxing, build update number 1 where we'll get it built, build update number 2 where we get it painted, weathered and finished off. So until then lads, stay safe, enjoy your modelling. Don't forget to hit the bell, therefore you'll be notified of any upcoming videos. As soon as I post a video you'll get the little notification. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed, and if you have subscribed I really do appreciate it lads. Thank you very much. And it's great to sort of read all your comments and things. You know, any criticisms and things, just let me know. You know, I'm pretty thick-skinned. I'll take criticisms as much as I take compliments. And it's nice to know, you know, if I make a blatant mistake, how it can be pointed out to me, how to fix it or rectify it. Obviously I don't want comments from rivet counters. Yes, there are the old kits. I know they're not technically specifically correct, and I don't care, and most modelers don't care, not the hobby modelers anyway, you know. And like I've often said, this channel is really based and aimed at the hobby modeler, not your super advanced modeler. They're not going to learn anything from me, you know. The only thing that they probably notice is stages that they've been to themselves in the past. And you know, oh, I remember when I used to do that, but now I found a better way of doing it. And if that is the case, let me know. You know, what is a better way of doing certain little techniques that I try out? Because a lot of the stuff that I've picked it up from other people's channels down along the line. Okay, so like I said, lads, I'm going to leave you with a couple of still pics after this, and don't forget, stick a comment in the old comments box below, give it the old thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one. So in the meantime, go out and buy yourself a kit, build it and enjoy it. This is John signing off. See you on the next one lads, stay safe.